For years, if you ask me, Curtis has stood tall as one of the most reliable, steadfast, and honorable men in town. He has constantly been the rock for his friends, the fiercely protective father figure, and the man who consistently puts his legacy family above his own personal desires. He has bent over backwards, sacrificing his own peace of mind to navigate through every crisis with his moral compass intact. Because of this deeply ingrained nobility, hardly anyone in the audience would ever suspect that a man of his caliber could morph into a terrifying villain. But guys, we have watched enough soap operas to know a universal truth. Sometimes, the most dangerous people are the good guys who have finally lost everything. When a righteous man is pushed past his breaking point, his descent into darkness is far more vicious than any traditional villain. Right now, this marriage between Curtis and Portia is hanging by the thinnest, most fragile thread imaginable. The arrival of their newborn baby in that hospital room was supposed to be a miracle, a joyous event to cement their bond. But let us be brutally honest here, this child is functioning as nothing more than a temporary bandage over a massive bleeding wound. The pregnancy managed to pull the relationship back from the absolute brink of divorce, but a baby cannot conjure up genuine romantic love where it has already withered away. They are both playing house, desperately trying to maintain the illusion of a happy legacy family, while secretly suffocating under the weight of their unspoken resentments. We all see it, and we know they feel it. Curtis is still harboring deep, unresolved feelings for Jordan. Every time they share a scene, the unclear mystery and lingering affection vibrate through the screen. On the other side of the equation, Portia is finding herself increasingly drawn to Isaiah. Their connection is undeniable, a magnetic pull that Portia is desperately trying to ignore. Both Curtis and Portia are actively suppressing their true desires, engaging in a vicious cycle of denial just to keep their family unit intact. But this kind of immense emotional sacrifice is a ticking time bomb. You can only bear your feelings for so long before they inevitably claw their way back to the surface, bringing utter destruction with them. Now, here is where the domino effect truly begins. If you ask me, the breaking point will arrive when Curtis, unable to shake his nagging intuition, demands a secret DNA test to finally put his inner demons to rest. He needs absolute certainty that this baby is his, a biological anchor to justify all the sacrifices he is making. But the universe is incredibly cruel. Imagine the sheer unadulterated devastation when he opens that envelope and sees the results staring back at him in black and white. He is not the biological father of this child. In a single heartbeat, the very foundation of his existence, the sole reason he stayed in this suffocating marriage, evaporates into thin air. But the nightmare does not end with a simple negative paternity result. The true, soul-shattering twist comes when Curtis digs deeper and uncovers a horrifying hidden agenda. He discovers that Portia and Isaiah did not just have a moment of weakness, they actively engaged in a deeply manipulative scheme. They secretly intercepted, altered, or deliberately buried previous medical records and DNA markers to ensure Curtis would believe the child was his. This was not a passive mistake. It was a calculated, malicious deception orchestrated by the woman he swore to protect and the colleague he thought he could trust. For Curtis, this revelation is not just a lie, it is a complete and total psychological annihilation. He will realize that his entire life, his sacrifices, and his profound commitment were built on a foundation of absolute fraud. The woman he repeatedly compromised his own happiness for, and the man he welcomed into his orbit, conspired to trap him in a false reality. In that exact moment, his unwavering belief in the sanctity of family, the endurance of love, and the loyalty of friends will shatter into a million irreparable pieces. The honorable man we have known for years will essentially die in that room, replaced by a hollow shell filled only with a blinding, toxic rage. And right when Curtis is plummeting into this bottomless abyss of despair, a shadowy figure will step out of the darkness. Enter Z. With Cullum now dead, and Brennan proving to be far too unpredictable and uncontrollable, Z is in desperate need of a brand new pawn on his chessboard. Z does not just want a standard, run-of-the-mill hitman. He needs a ghost. He needs someone with a sterling reputation, a man whom the entire town trusts implicitly, someone who can walk into a room and never draw a single ounce of suspicion. Curtis, with his tragic backstory and his universally respected persona, is the absolute perfect candidate for this unholy alliance. Z is a master manipulator, and he will not use brute force or crude blackmail to recruit Curtis. No, Z will play a much darker psychological game. He will approach a broken Curtis and expertly exploit his profound agony and newfound hatred. Z will whisper poisonous truths into his ear, pointing out that the conventional legal system will never punish Portia and Isaiah for the emotional slaughter they committed. The law does not arrest people for breaking hearts or faking paternity. But the WSB, the Shadow World, they have the power to enact a very different kind of justice. Z will offer Curtis the ultimate forbidden fruit, the power to completely destroy those who destroyed him. The proposition will be chillingly simple yet incredibly dangerous. In exchange for becoming a double agent, a shadow operative operating entirely off the books for the WSB, Curtis will be granted the resources and the absolute immunity to exact his personal revenge. This is the exact type of Black Ops mission that the WSB cannot officially sanction. If anything goes horribly wrong, the agency will disavow all knowledge, and the entire blame will fall squarely on the rogue agent. Z will utilize these phantom operatives to permanently eliminate high-value targets without leaving a single fingerprint behind. And Curtis, blinded by his pain, will gladly sign his soul away to the devil. If you ask me, the very first domino to fall in Curtis's new reign of terror will undoubtedly be Isaiah. The man who helped ruin his life will become his inaugural target, but this will not be a messy, emotional confrontation in the middle of the town square. No, Curtis will utilize his newly acquired WSB training and resources to orchestrate something far more sinister. Isaiah will simply vanish. He will disappear into the ether without a single trace. There will be no bloody crime scene, no frantic witnesses, and absolutely no body to bury. The town will wake up one morning, and Isaiah will just be gone, erased from existence as if he was never there. To ensure the illusion remains perfectly intact, a meticulously crafted WSB file will conveniently surface detailing how Isaiah abruptly left town for highly personal reasons or accepted an exclusive, top-secret medical position overseas. With the sheer terrifying power of Z's vast resources, fabricating a brand new identity or completely scrubbing a human being from the face of the earth is just another Tuesday in the clandestine world of international espionage. Everyone will believe the convenient lie. The most terrifying aspect is Curtis's internal monologue. In his twisted mind, he will genuinely believe he is an instrument of righteous karma, rationalizing every violent act as a necessary evil to balance the scales of a deeply unfair universe. Guys, the juxtaposition of his dual life will be absolutely mesmerizing to watch. By day, Curtis will continue to wear his perfectly tailored suits, running Aurora Media with a charming smile. He will play the role of the devoted father, the reliable confidant, and the pillar of the community. He will sit at the Metro Court, sipping coffee and offering sage advice to his friends. But when the sun goes down, that charming facade will melt away, revealing Z's most lethal and efficient shadow agent. He will carry out bloody, vengeful missions in the dead of night, washing the evidence off his hands before returning home to kiss his family good morning. This drastic transformation will inevitably trigger a massive domino effect that will crash into everyone he loves. Jordan, with her sharp investigative instincts and their deep historical bond, will undoubtedly be the very first person to sense that something is fundamentally wrong. She will notice the subtle shifts in his demeanor, the coldness in his eyes, and the unexplained absences. Jordan will find herself caught in a terrifying game of cat and mouse, desperately trying to uncover the truth about the man she still loves, completely unaware that she is hunting a highly trained WSB ghost who knows all of her police tactics. Meanwhile, Portia will be left to drown in a sea of her own agonizing guilt. When she eventually realizes the monstrous entity that her husband has become, she will have to face the horrifying reality that she built this monster. Her manipulative scheme and desperate need to control the narrative are what ultimately pushed a good man off a psychological cliff. In the end, Z will emerge as the ultimate victor. He will have successfully acquired the most flawless, undetectable pawn imaginable, hiding his most nefarious operations behind Curtis's pristine public image. What do you guys think? Is Curtis truly capable of crossing that final, unforgivable line, or will his inherent goodness somehow pull him back from the brink before it is too late?